Welcome to the Ben Daniel Podcast, where we're calling a spade. Great to be here with you today. It seems as if the WNBA and the organizations that are part of this league, the entire season has been pointing at the Indiana Fever, making up accusations, making up distractions in an effort to keep everybody's attention off of the actual disasters that have been going on within each organization themselves. Whether it's Las Vegas with the Becky Hammon, Dearica Hamby situation, whether it's the Chicago Sky, dysfunction in that locker room, the coach getting fired, whether it's the Seattle Storm, and most recently Noelle Quinn and her coaching staff, who are being investigated by the organization themselves regarding bullying and harassment. That's right, folks. The Seattle Storm coaches are being investigated by the organization for alleged player mistreatment, a source confirmed to ESPN. Seattle has hired a law firm to look into accusations of harassment and bullying by the coaches regarding player performance. Now, all of this started with a small rumor that was floating out there in the WNBA basketball scene. Seattle Storm Crazies on Facebook, I believe, put out a post in one of the group pages that said this. Anyone else notice chemistry was seemingly non-existent between the coaching staff and most of the players as the season wore on? I'm hearing more and more rumors that Noelle Quinn and her coaches were allegedly abusive towards staff and players alike, threatened a player, creating a hostile environment for players, caused division among players, called players slurs, bitches, dumb, and all kinds of other abusive terms. I'm hearing it was so bad that the president of ticket sales quit. He couldn't take the toxicity anymore. Hope there is resolution soon, especially with all of the coaching changes happening right now. If I'm hearing this, if I'm Adam Silver, I'm calling Kathy Engel brain dead immediately. And I'm saying, Kathy, it's a WNBA Renaissance. Can't you take a look around? We're getting out with the old and in with the new. If Noelle Quinn, who I was a fan of, to be honest with you, I liked her composure. I liked her posture on the sidelines. She always seemed confident on the sidelines, called timely timeouts. So I was a fan of Noelle Quinn, don't get me wrong. But I think Adam Silver should be looking at this and say, yep, another one needs to bite the dust. If we're going to have more eyeballs onto the WNBA, stories like this can't come out. And it's funny, because this is a league that the whole entire season tried to tell the public, tried to tell casuals that this is the friendliest league, all-inclusive, everybody gets along, everybody's kumbaya, except for one select group of fans, except for one certain fan base. And then you hear trickles coming out of this organization. Then you hear trickles coming out of that organization. Marina Mabry wants a trade. Dearica Hamby drops a big fat lawsuit, plop, right on Becky Hammon and the WNBA's desk. Seems like everywhere you turn, you actually see dysfunction happening all around the WNBA in all places but the one place where our attention seemed to be diverted all season long. If this was the NBA, no big deal. Nobody tries to pass off the NBA locker room as some type of boys and girls club. Nobody tries to pass off an NFL locker room as some type of kumbaya. Everybody's so nice in here. We know the environments. We know the standard that these players hold each other accountable to. That's why when it happens here in the WNBA, when players want to act like natural competitive spirit doesn't take over, when players want to act like everything is done above the board, WNBA, where everybody is holier than thou, the fact that this is happening in the WNBA, that makes this a story. If they didn't try to act like they were better than this all season long, this wouldn't be nearly as big of a story as it is. However, the fact that this is a league that's been trying to pass themselves off as something that they're not really adds a microscope to the situation that we have at hand. Folks, this is bullying. This is harassment. This is what we like to call a Cheryl Swoops double-double, right? This is what we like to call a Cheryl Swoops home run, right? A Cheryl Swoops swirl. That's what we like to call these things, right? You hit the trifecta, right? Your coaches are leaving. President of ticket sales leaving. And it's funny because do you guys remember this situation? Remember how we were overreacting to this situation? Noelle Quinn and Skylar Diggins approaching Christy Sides after the game, during the game, because she didn't pull her starters fast enough. She didn't put Grace Berger and Victoria Saxton and Christy Wallace in the game fast enough. Noelle Quinn had a problem with that, as well as Skylar Diggins Smith. So they had to approach Christy Sides like some real immature, emotional brats. Hey, Christy, you took 10 seconds too long to sub out your starters. You're already beating us pretty bad here on your home court, and now you're going to take 10 seconds too long to sub in your bench players? Real terrible of you, Christy. These are actions that took place, and based on what we're hearing now, what Skylar Diggins Smith did was accepted. What Skylar Diggins Smith did going to the coach's table, talking to Christy Sides, behavior like that was accepted from everybody except for the teammates. As the season developed, it was clear that Diggins Smith's style of leadership wasn't held in high regard by most except the coaching staff. According to multiple sources, Diggins Smith led several outbursts laced with vulgarity during practices directed at teammates. Even during the exit interview, Skylar Diggins Smith said, "I know I may not be everyone's cup of tea in that locker room." Skylar Diggins Smith, we've covered it here on the channel before, fiery, emotional, doesn't have the control. It is what it is. We saw her outbursts over there in Phoenix. We saw her outbursts here at Seattle Storm. We've seen her outbursts numerous times this year in post-game interviews, whether it's questioning her team's effort, questioning her own effort. I mean, there's multiple scenarios of Skylar Diggins Smith not being able to control herself and lashing out. It just is what it is. And the funniest part of all of this is that, do you know who one of the better players on the Seattle Storm is? It is Nneka Ogwumike, the WNBPA Women's National Basketball Players Association president. Nneka Ogwumike. She was excluded from players-only meetings due to a fear of partiality to the coaching staff. That's right. Players held a players-only meeting except her. Everybody's allowed it except her. You guys can all come in for this players meeting except her. Hey, guys, we're going to have a players-only meeting. Just don't tell Nneka. Hey, Skylar, we're going to have a players-only meeting. Just don't tell Nneka. Hey, Jewel, we're going to have a players-only meeting. Just don't tell Nneka. Hey, why aren't we telling Nneka? It's about the coach. Okay, I got you. And they're snooping around Seattle Storm hallways and back alleys and unlocking the secret door to escape from Nneka Ogwumike just so they can have their own little secret meeting in a back closet somewhere. Folks, you cannot make this up. All season long, people are trying to divert casuals' attentions from their own team and try to... Seems like all these other teams, fans, and organizations just try to project their own shortcomings on the Indiana Fever, right? These own players and their... Right, you got supposedly the best player in the league at the time, Asia Wilson, right? Backing up supposedly the best coach in the league at the time, Becky Hammond, on the best player in the league at the time, Las Vegas Aces. 1, 2, 3. Player, coach, team. The player's backing up the coach. The coach is getting backed up by the team. Las Vegas Aces are pushing Dearica Hamby out the door. But lo and behold, you look around. You got one assistant coach headed over to Golden State Valkyrie. You got the other assistant coach heading over there to Chicago. You got the GM stepping down. And you look around and that Las Vegas Aces organization that decided to force Dearica out the door, suddenly they are no more. You got Joel Lloyd. I'm only going to speak on our rookie. Our rookie that's been on the bench handing water for the whole season. That rookie, you're going to speak on Nico Mule. That's the rookie you're going to... Cut it out. Cut it out. And then, of course, you have Nneka Ogwumike speaking in depth on why Noelle Quinn is her favorite coach.
You know, I've had so many different coaches. I've connected with so many different coaches. I don't think I've ever looked at a coach and like seen myself in a coach, perhaps like the way that I have with not even just Noelle, but with Ebb as well. I played with Ebb. So there's already that existing relationship there.
You're old, bro.
I know.
That's the first sign. That's the first sign.
I know.
No, I'm kidding. You're not. You're not.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny because I was telling my teammates, I was like, yeah, Ebb was my vet my rookie year. They're like, Ebb played? I was like, oh my God.
That's the worst.
Yeah, where do you think she came from?
That's the
You know what I'm
worst.
saying? So,
She just likes basketball? No, she played. What are you talking about?
I'm like, absolutely. She was good. She's a champion. I'm like, come on, relax.
Yeah,
but yeah, like, just being able to kind of relate to my coach in that way, it's
All this is funny. I can't help but the chuckle.
being someone that you see yourself in. There's things that you don't necessarily have to explain, like when you're communicating with your coach. And I would say that even, not even just being a Black woman in the WNBA who's played in the WNBA, I would say that, if you're generalizing it a little bit more, or if you're kind of like stripping the categories away, even like playing, like someone who has played, like you guys know it's different when, it may be different because like Sue, you and Noe were like so close in age and like you guys had played together, but still like there's just a different type of relationship you can have with someone who knows you on that level, because I just feel like that type of experience is just not something you can ever teach, And I think too, though, being an older player and having a coach like Noelle it's impacting me in ways that perhaps other people may not experience, not necessarily negatively or more positively, but I just think that my connection at this point in my career with what I've experienced and what she's experienced, there's just so much that aligns.
That was Shanae Agumake, and somebody else is reporting that, according to league sources, the investigation was sparked by multiple player experiences. Multiple player experiences. People are coming out of the woodworks saying, this is what's going on. I need you guys to investigate this. Straight from ESPN, straight from Annie Constable. So shout out to Annie, by the way. She's a Nancy Lieberman. She's a real journalist. She reports the truth, whether you guys like it or not. But according to one league source, the investigation was sparked by multiple player experiences. Folks, you got a coach acting up. Here's the trifecta, right? You got the coach acting up. You got the Women's National Basketball Players Association president on the team backing her up. And then you got Skylar Diggins-Smith, who has that type of leadership style that only the coaches are a fan of. Yeah, I can see how that can lead to an environment that not many people have fun working on, especially when one of the biggest voices on the team is somebody that will go back and report, hey, coach, you won't believe what Jules said about you. She said you don't got to deal with that. You don't got to deal with that at all. Again, if this wasn't a league that tried to pass themselves off as something that they are not, this would not be a big deal. Nobody talks about the NBA locker rooms being kumbaya. Nope. Nobody talks about the NFL locker rooms being kumbaya. Nope. People said that the WNBA was a good old kumbaya. Everybody grab hands until a certain somebody showed up. Turns out the league's been like that. It just took a superstar to put all the eyeballs on the product to say, look what's going on here. This stuff needs to be addressed. And hopefully Adam Silver and Kathy Angle Braindead can start addressing some of these issues. Not all publicity is good publicity. And the WNBA seems to find themselves with bad publicity more than good publicity. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like the channel and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, take it easy.